So in the image search, I'd like you to type in old damaged photos of people standing. I know that's long, but old damaged photos of people standing. So type that in, make sure it's on a Google or an image search. And then also make sure you're at tools, your size is larger than 2MP, and you're looking for this particular photo right here. So this one, it's the first one that should show up, and this is the one you want. So in order to save this, do the same thing that you normally do. You hold down the control key, you click on the picture, you go down to save image as. Do not change the name on this picture. So keep the same name on this picture and then just hit save. And save it to your documents. Don't save it to the desktop. Don't save it to downloads. For those of you who, when you're saving this, if you look at this little arrow right next to here, if I click that arrow, notice how it does this, and it doesn't really give me all that many options. But if you click this arrow, then it comes out to here, and then you can save it as something different. So I've already saved this one. So I'm going to then go to your Finder menu, which is on your dock. It's the smiley face with half of it's blue and half of it's white. So go to your Finder menu and pull that up. And you're going to find the actual file. So here's the file right here. And on this file, I am then also going to control click and then go open with and then go Photoshop CS6. So I found the file. I right click it or control click it. I go open with and then Adobe Photoshop CS6. So that's how I want you to open this. Alright, so now you have this file up. Now what I'd like you to do is just follow along. I'd like you to go to your lasso tool, which is the third tool down. Okay, I'm on my lasso tool, and I would like you to take this top left corner here, and I would like you to lasso around it. Just don't worry about being precise. Do something like this. Here, let me zoom in here. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to go around about like this, and you can go way around the outside if you want, and then back to where it was. This is going to select this area. You know it's selected because you get this moving dotted line. So now it's selected. If I do not get the selection that I want, if for some reason I select it and I'm like, I actually want to select a different part, you can always go Command D for deselect. So if I go Command D, notice how that just takes that selection away. So all this is a selection tool. All it is saying, okay, this is what I want selected. Now I can do something with it. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is go to Edit at the top. And then go down to Fill. And you're going to get this box, and it should say Content Aware on it. And if it says Content Aware, just hit OK. And notice what that did. That filled in this space. What it's doing is it's looking at the content around it, and it's saying, okay, I think that this needs to be filled in with this. It's very similar to this. Right, so now I can Command D to deselect that. I can do the same thing on these other spots, but I want to first go to this spot over here. So this spot is probably the most challenging spot because you can see this orange stain on the side. So we're going to give it a shot. It's just a starting point. So I'm going to go around the edge here. And then I'm going to go way around here and back. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go edit, fill, content aware, okay. All right, so you notice that this guy's head is right there. We're going to leave it there, and we're going to go over the top of it in a little bit. So what it said there, it's like, okay, I think that this is right here is like what was around it, so it just grabbed that. We just needed to sort of fill that in. All right, there's plenty of other ways to do this. That's just one way as like a starting point. Okay, so that is your lasso tool. Now the other way that you can use this lasso tool is if I want to modify certain areas, for instance, this guy's head. So this guy right here, his head is going to be the hardest part of this assignment. This whole corner that's been stained in orange is going to be probably the hardest part. So what I want to do is I want to just select his head. So I'm going to take my lasso tool and I'm going to go around. I'm going to select just his head. You'll probably want to do a much better job than me. Alright, so I selected this. Now I want to put this on another layer because I'm going to mess with this. And if I mess it up, I want to be able to like go back and get rid of that layer. So I'm going to copy what's inside of this selection. And this is the nice thing about the select tool is you can always copy stuff inside of it. So to copy, I'm going to go Command C for copy. You can also go up to here and go, let's see, edit and then copy. It just is a lot easier to go Command C. So I just copied that. Now I'm going to make a new layer and I'm going to paste this onto a new layer. So I'm on my new layer and I go Command V for paste. And now you can see that I turned off the background layer and I just have this layer on, and you can see it's just this person's head. All right, I'll turn that background layer back on. So my goal right now is to match the color of this guy's head because they all have to look similar. So his is all orange, but this one's more of a light color. So I'm just going to be working in this layer right here, this top layer that I made where I just did that. So I'm in that layer. The first, and note that the method that I give you here is not the right method. It can be, but you can use any method that you want. I don't care how you get a result as long as you get it. I'm just going to show you one method. And there may be a better method. There's 100 different methods. I have no idea. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is I'm on my layer 1. I'm going to go to, let's see, image, and then adjustments. This right here is really nice. You're going to use this a lot, image adjustments. So remember that. You've got all these different things that you can mess with. I'm just going to turn, first of all, turn him to black and white. That's just going to be my starting point. So I'm going to turn his head to black and white. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is go to image adjustments again, and I might turn the brightness up a little bit. So I'm going to try and match the brightness of this guy's head next to him. So maybe something like that. That looks, yeah, about right. Okay. Now I'm going to add some color back into this. So I go image adjustments again. And I think maybe on this one I want to put a photo filter. So this photo filter, I'm going to go to color. And I'm going to try to match the color of this right here. So I click on the color, on the actual color, and I guess normally this should work where I can click with the eyedropper tool where I want, and it should match that color, but it's not working on mine. I don't know if it works on yours. But maybe I can just eyeball it. So I can go up to here and go, all right, maybe let's get a little bit of tint that's somewhat like this. It's kind of a, maybe something like that. Okay. And then I can move this density up here, and you can see that it gives it that little bit of tint. If that doesn't really work, then you can go back to here and go, all right, well, that didn't really work. I want something a little bit more orange. Okay. Maybe that worked a little better. You kind of have to spend some time messing with this stuff. I also am eventually going to want this to fade in. So I'm going to use my blur tool, and I'm going to go around the edge here, and I'm going to blur the edge of this so that it makes it look like it fits. Okay, so let's leave his head. I'm going to go back to my background layer. Now I want to start messing with this stuff around it. So I'm going to use my clone stamp tool. I'm going to start cloning things from over here or wherever, and I'm going to start stamping them over here. So for instance, I'm going to hold down my Alt Option key. I'm going to clone from right here, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to stamp it. Now you may have to re-clone a lot. So I'm going to clone it, stamp it. I'm going to go over here, clone it. Maybe that's a better spot. Stamp it, clone it, stamp it, clone it. You can see that I'm just replacing this with that. You can make bigger areas if you want to come all the way over here and make it a little darker. I can bump this up, and I can clone this, and I can go all the way over to here, and I can stamp it. Something like that if you wanted to. But anyways, it's a process of doing that. You're gonna have to do the same thing maybe over here to go over the top of this. So maybe you go over here and you clone this, and you go and you stamp it over here. Whatever looks good to you. All right. The last tool that I would like to show you is the spot healing brush tool. It's the one that looks like the Band-Aid. And with this one, you want to use it sparingly, because if you notice, when I zoom in here, you have this texture. You notice that you've got this sort of texture on this page, and you don't want to lose that very much. So with the spot healing brush tool, I want to get rid of these cracks. So I just can run it over like that, and you notice that these disappear. If you overuse this, it takes away the texture of this picture. So if you use it too much, it makes it look blurred and it doesn't look natural. So I might even like bump this down a little bit and just try and use it as little as possible. You've got some scratches there you can get rid of. But with this tool, it's probably easiest to zoom way in and just use as small as possible this thing. And you can just click here and there wherever you see something. Okay, so the problem areas. This guy's ear is going to be a problem. You're going to have to figure out something for this guy's ear. You can go to his ear here and copy it with the lasso tool. And then here, let me show you a trick real quick. So if I go to my lasso tool, and let's just say I want to grab this guy's ear like this, and I copy it. Let's just say I did a good job on that. And then I'm going to paste it, Command V, and it's right over the top of this. So I'm going to Command T that, and notice how that gives me my ear over here. So I've got this ear, and let's just say I want to stick it on the other side. I can grab this here, and I can just flip it over to there. And then I can move it here and mess with it. Obviously that's too big. You can see how far this one sticks out. So you'd almost want to like match it to that. And then take your eraser tool and you could erase like around his head like that. And then you'd probably have to go up to image adjustments. And again, I'm doing a really fast job of this, so I'm not like doing a very good job. Okay, so then I want to kind of match the color of that ear. So a lot of time you can do stuff like that, and then you'd have to fix the stuff around it. And you can move this ear around just to make sure that it's right. And you might want to take your blur tool and go over here and blur the edges of this to make it look like it fits. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. All right, so the problem areas are going to be like first and foremost, this guy on the right, his whole head, this whole area over here is going to be a problem. His upper part here is going to be, you want to do as little as possible and make it look good. This guy's nose right here is going to be a pain. This guy's ear is going to be a pain. Maybe this spot here. So start messing with this stuff. The last thing I want to say is do one area and then move on and be done with it. If I did one area over here, let's just say I fixed a bunch of stuff over here and I wasn't finished, and then I went to another area and I go, oh, you know what? I want to go backwards here. You can't, because you just went a whole bunch of stuff ahead. So make sure you finish one area and then move on to the other area until, and don't move on until you're very satisfied with what you've got. And that is it.